Hey guys, it's Mike here, and in this video, I want to discuss something regarding the Hulk, and more specifically, Hulk's transformation in the upcoming Avengers 4, which will be part 2 of the Infinity War storyline. Now, this video will contain spoilers for Infinity War, as well as some of the other MCU movies, so if you want to watch it first, then you can come back to this video after you're done. But without further ado, let's get into this video. So as we saw at the beginning of Avengers Infinity War, the Mad Titan Thanos attacked Thor's ship that contained the Asgardian people who were displaced following the events of Thor Ragnarok. During this attack, Bruce Banner, who was on board the ship, transformed into the Hulk and attacked Thanos. However, considering how powerful Thanos was, this didn't go very well as Hulk was beaten down and defeated. However, at the last moment, Heimdall used his magic to send Hulk to the Earth. Now interestingly, throughout the film after this, even when Banner was engaged in stressful encounters and intense battles, he couldn't transform back into the Hulk. In fact, the Hulk refused to return, yelling no at Banner's request. Now, while this was never really explained in the film, I have some ideas as to what this could lead to in the future. Now, throughout the years in the comics, the dynamic between Banner and the Hulk has changed drastically. Originally, the Hulk was like Frankenstein's monster mixed with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Hulk, an alternate, more powerful personality, would take over at nighttime, turning Banner into a hulking, gray-skinned man. Eventually, this would change to where the Hulk would emerge when Banner was enraged or placed into danger, as well as taking on his iconic green color. We see this happen in the MCU version, as Banner can transform when his heart rate increases too high. The same happens if Banner is placed in a situation that would normally lead to his death, like when he jumped out of the plane in the Incredible Hulk movie or in Thor Ragnarok. And typically, once the threat subsided, Hulk would regress back into Banner. However, recently, this has changed. As we saw in Thor Ragnarok, Thor traveled to the planet Sakaar, which was run by the Grandmaster. This is where he encountered the Hulk, who had also found his way there after the events of Avengers: Age of Ultron. Hulk had become the champion of the planet, but interestingly, he had taken on a personality of his own. Now he was no longer the uncontrollable rage monster, but someone who talked and could have full conversations with Thor. He even made jokes and pulled pranks of sorts. This Hulk was like a big kid, although an incredibly powerful kid with a tendency to smash his enemies. And maybe even Valkyrie, but that's a story for another day. Also, apparently by this point, the Hulk had total control over his body for the past 2 years, leaving Banner in a sort of passenger role. This storyline was heavily inspired by Planet Hulk, where the Hulk was sent by Iron Man and the Marvel Illuminati into space because despite being a hero, they saw him as too great of a threat to remain on Earth. However, Hulk ended up on the planet Sakaar, which was a planet filled with monsters that held gladiator battles for the people's amusement, and was run by a dictator, much like ancient Rome. By this point in the story, the Hulk was also in control, being known as Green Scar, eventually overthrowing the dictator and becoming the Green King of the planet. He even had a wife who was pregnant with their child. Unfortunately, the ship that brought Hulk to the planet exploded, killing his wife and most of the population of the planet. This led to the World War Hulk storyline, where Hulk returned to the Earth for revenge upon humanity. However, this storyline didn't occur in the movies, but rather Hulk reverted back to Banner and he teamed up with Thor to help him out in the battle against Hela, once again transforming, fighting, and defeating the Fenris Wolf before attempting to smash Surtur, but showing restraint to stop himself, despite Surtur being a, quote, big monster. In World War Hulk, on the other hand, Hulk only reverted back to Banner after his fight with Sentry, which saw Banner as the last man standing. And even then, it didn't last for long. So Banner coming back to the Earth to help the Avengers and having difficulty transforming leads me to think that perhaps they're not going with the World War Hulk storyline. But with that being said, there are some other ways that this can go. For example, in the comics, another big event which happened is that Banner and the Hulk were actually separated and lived apart as different entities with their own personalities. At first, this would seem like a positive for Banner, and the Hulk felt freed of his supposedly weaker form. However, the two of them were still connected. Banner was also rendered defenseless and was slowly being drained by their separation. I could see a similar storyline playing out in the movies, as perhaps Thanos will use the power of the Infinity Gauntlet to separate Hulk and Banner. and at first, they'll probably both like this change. However, in time, they'll realize that they need one another, and that Hulk actually does care about and seeks to protect Banner. So eventually, the two of them will likely be fused back together, perhaps again with the gauntlet. However, it's at this point that the story could go a couple different ways, and perhaps lead to a new Hulk transformation. Now, they could go the route that Banner and the Hulk have a mutual respect, and Banner can bring out the Hulk on a whim, with him taking over to battle their enemies. The two could still be separate personalities, but two sides of the same coin work in sync. However, the other way that this could go is if that separation ceases to be, and the two of them are totally combined. As we saw in the comics, there is a version of the Hulk called Merged or Professor Hulk. This Hulk is a combination of both Banner and Hulk's consciousness into one being inhabiting Hulk's form. This allows Professor Hulk to wield both Hulk's incredible strength and Banner's nearly matchless intellect. Much like with the separation angle, I can see this being what Hulk's refusal to transform was leading to. This would also be a good story arc for Banner, who spent his life after the Gamma Ray experiment trying to get rid of the Hulk and not wanting to transform into or control his stronger personality. It's very akin to the idea in psychology known as the Protector, where a person, oftentimes a child who was abused, creates an alternate stronger persona and concept to defend themselves from future harm. This has also been played around with in past Hulk comics. So for Bruce to reconcile that this is who he is, accept the Hulk, and become one new being would bring this arc to a strong conclusion. This is an arc and transformation I could see either beginning in or taking place over the course of Infinity War Part 2. And another big piece of evidence supporting this is the fact that this version of the Hulk was actually the Hulk that appeared in the Infinity Gauntlet comic event, which the MCU Infinity War is heavily inspired by. So that could be our biggest giveaway here. The final piece of evidence comes from an interview with the Russo brothers who directed Avengers Infinity War. What they said was, a lot of people had interpreted that the Hulk was scared of Thanos. The Hulk had his ass kicked before, and so it wasn't like the minute he gets his ass kicked he's going to run and hide. It's really the notion that the Hulk and Banner have a very dysfunctional relationship, which was explored even further in Thor Ragnarok. And I think that relationship is starting to strain between the two of them, and the Hulk is not interested in playing the hero to Banner anymore. I don't know if the Hulk sees the value in the relationship. They both want to control Hulk's body. The Hulk brings fighting and strength to the table, and he's not quite sure what Banner is bringing yet. So I think this is becoming one stubborn push and pull between two very disparate personalities stuck in one body. So again, it comes down to a struggle between the personalities inhabiting one body. One of great intelligence but physical weakness, and one of great strength but intellectual weakness. That's why I think the struggle between the two of them will likely be remedied, and the two personalities will become one, perhaps at the end of Infinity War Part 2. Or maybe even whatever Marvel has planned next. So what do you guys think? Will the Hulk undergo a different transformation in the upcoming Avengers 4? Will he become Professor Hulk, or maybe will they go down a different route? I don't exactly think he's going to become Joe Fix-It anytime soon. Let me know your thoughts down below. And if you're new to this channel, then make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you can see all of my videos right away when they come out. And if you like this video, then make sure to stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future.
Yeah, and you better subscribe, enable those damn notifications.